Welcome to Live Economic News, the channel where we dissect the intricate web of economics and technology. In today's episode, we dive deep into the controversial topic of a potential ban on iPhones in China and explore whether Apple can thrive without this massive smartphone market. Apple Inc. is currently battling a far wider issue in the global smartphone industry, where all major OEMs have been battling slow shipment growth over the previous few quarters, and it is none other than from one of its core iPhone markets, China. The Chinese government agencies recently made a shocking announcement, essentially banning their employees from using iPhones and other devices with foreign brands at work. According to Wall Street Journal reports, personnel at a few core government regulatory agencies have been given tight instructions to leave their expensive foreign devices at home. These instructions were delivered through secret meetings and hush-hush chat groups. China has also expanded the iPhone ban to other state-owned companies and organizations in addition to these restrictions. The news caused a 6% decline in Apple's share price, the worst two-day drop since November 2022, from $189.70 on September 5th to $177.56 on September 7th. Before this setback, Apple had seen an impressive 46% increase in its stock price for the year, mirroring the overall upward trend in the technology sector. For Apple, losing its grip on China could mark an unparalleled setback. It's akin to a tech titan losing a crown jewel. Although Apple maintains a robust presence in the United States, India, and numerous European nations, the stakes in China are of a different magnitude. The ongoing US-China Cold War is to blame for the current situation. Let's first explore the historical backdrop to have a full picture of the current situation. US-China tech clash. The USA and China have been involved in a trade war for a while, with technology companies taking front stage. The technical rivalry between China and the United States has transformed into a fight for dominance in an effort to lessen their reliance on one another. In recent years, the US in particular has taken steps to limit the influence of IT firms located in China. The sale of design software, machinery for making semiconductors, and cutting-edge AI chips from manufacturers like NVIDIA and Advanced Micro Devices (AMD) to Chinese enterprises is now prohibited under U.S. regulations, which went into effect in September 2022. These limitations are meant to restrict China's access to cutting-edge semiconductor technology, which is essential to many other industries, including the smartphone industry. The establishment of advanced technology facilities in China will also be forbidden for 10 years for U.S. technology businesses that receive government assistance. In addition, new rules announced by the Federal Communications Commission (FCC) in November 2022 forbade the use of communication devices made by companies including Huawei, ZTE, and Hikvision. Unacceptable risk to national security presented by allowing the importation or sale of goods from certain firms in the U.S. was the main driving force for the prohibition. These steps represent the U.S. government's attempts to protect its national security interests and technology infrastructure in the face of shifting global dynamics. These restrictions on Chinese firms are not the first of their type in the U.S., though. The previous president, Donald Trump, signed an executive order in May 2019 that essentially barred Huawei from using U.S. networks by adding it to the Bureau of Industry and Security Entity list maintained by the Commerce Department. Concerns over Huawei's tight relationship with the Chinese government served as the basis for the decision. The FCC ordered all U.S. telecommunications businesses to stop using equipment from Chinese manufacturers, including Huawei and ZTE, in 2021, marking the start of more action. At the same time, actions were taken to remove China Telecom's permission to conduct business in the U.S. The United States appears to have a specific goal in mind when it focuses so intensely on Huawei and other tech firms. Ren Zhengfei, the CEO of Huawei, is connected to China's political behemoth, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Huawei is a well-known tech business in China. The restrictions placed on Huawei have essentially prevented it from using key chip manufacturing equipment required for the creation of cutting-edge smartphone models. As a result, the company's business has suffered, giving rivals like Apple the chance to grow their market share not only in the United States, but also in China. The U.S. House of Representatives made a crucial move in December 2022 when it ordered its employees and MPs to delete TikTok from any mobile devices that were provided by the government. Concerns regarding security issues related to the widely used video sharing software led to this move. Xu Zhiqiu, the CEO of TikTok, TikTok, was called to testify before Congress in March 2023 to address concerns about data sharing with China, which increased the focus. These events draw attention to the U.S. government's rising worries about the possible dangers of using TikTok and its data practices, especially in light of the app's enormous user base and ownership by a Chinese tech corporation. Restrictions on Micron Technology Beijing imposed severe limitations on Idaho-based chipmaker Micron Technology in May 2023. These limitations essentially prevented Micron from supplying microchips to businesses in China, serious network security risks. Given as the official rationale, China will contribute for around 10.7% of Micron's annual sales in 2022, making it the third largest market for the company. In China, cell phones, such as the iPhone, and personal PCs frequently employ Micron processors. Although current limitations mostly affect sales to international businesses who produce their goods in China, a total ban may have more far-reaching effects. Because the bulk of Apple's iPhones are manufactured in China, the company is particularly susceptible to supply chain disruptions brought on by such restrictions. Such occurrences where China has put sanctions on US-made items or the US has imposed bans on China-made products have occurred often in the previous 3 years, mainly following the COVID-19 outbreak. These acts are frequently motivated by a variety of motives, including as worries about security, economic considerations, or the need to promote regional industry. The interaction between these two economic behemoths on the world stage continues to mold the worldwide commerce and technological environment. For a variety of reasons in recent years, American businesses have been compelled to reevaluate their relationships with China. These include the strict COVID-19 lockdowns imposed by Beijing, the ongoing US-China-Taiwan dispute, the tariff policies put in place during the Trump administration, and political pressure to reroute supply chains to countries that support Washington's objectives. China bans iPhones, a boon for Huawei. Experts are debating whether China's moves are purely a question of coincidence or whether they are purposefully scheduled. At a time when Huawei is almost through with the steps intended to lessen the consequences of limitations and prohibitions imposed by the US, China has started to exercise its influence. If Apple iPhones are completely outlawed in China, Huawei would stand to gain significantly as a result. A luxury smartphone juggernaut with close links to the Chinese Communist Party (CCP), Huawei stands apart from other Android OEMs like Xiaomi, Oppo, etc. The timing of the iPhone ban in China's government offices falls in line with Huawei's just-announced release of the Mate 60 Pro smartphones. A triple-back camera arrangement with 50MP, 48MP, and 12MP lenses, a 13MP front camera, a powerful 5000 mAh battery, and a processor from Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp. (SMIC) are just a few of the outstanding features of the Mate 60 Pro in particular. The Huawei Mate 60 series' astounding features present a seductive alternative to the iPhone Pro models and have the ability to upend the premium part of the Chinese smartphone market. As a consequence, more Android smartphone users are anticipated to upgrade to Huawei's most recent models, and even current iPhone customers in China may consider switching back to Huawei's alluring products. Given its strong ties to the government, Huawei may be given preferential treatment and assistance over other businesses. This assistance might take many different forms, such as favorable regulations, easy access to necessary resources, or efforts supported by the government. The Semiconductor Industry Association states that Huawei started making chips in China in 2022 and received an estimated $30 billion in state investment from the Shenzhen government and the city as a whole. The business is now constructing 3 new chip-making units in addition to the 2 it has already bought. Huawei's promise is demonstrated by its revival in the Chinese smartphone market. Interestingly, with an incredible 76% year-over-year rise in sales, it rose into the top 5 smartphone suppliers in China in Q2 2023. Huawei's market share increased as a result, rising from 7.3% in Q2 2022 to a strong 13% in Q2 2023. Before Huawei was completely outlawed by the US government, it had roughly 20% of the worldwide market. The P60 series and the foldable Mate X3 model were 2 notable products that Huawei introduced as part of an aggressive product launch strategy. These improvements may increase its attractiveness to Chinese customers. Apple is at the nexus of the complex factors that are at play in the high-stakes tech industry conflict between China and the United States. The severity of this problem is further highlighted by the probable iPhone ban within Chinese state-owned businesses and government institutions. Apple's link with China, both as a manufacturing hub and a significant market, is still essential as it navigates these difficult difficulties. The Cupertino powerhouse may need Apple speed up its attempts to move certain manufacturing activities from China to other nations, including India and Vietnam, in order to lessen its dependency on a single place and reduce risks linked with geopolitical concerns. Meanwhile, Huawei is well positioned to capture a sizable portion of China's smartphone market because to its high-end products and strong links to the government. The prospect of a ban on iPhones in China is a complex issue with profound economic and technological implications. As we await developments in this ongoing story, one thing is certain: Apple's ability to adapt and innovate will be put to the test. Thank you for joining us on Live Economic News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth discussions on the dynamic world of economics and technology. Until next time, stay informed and stay ahead.